flat out. This is probably the hottest stretch of life I've ever been through. There's not a lot of times in Canada where the temperature regularly stays 35 degrees plus. So one day it even got to 45 degrees. So, and trying to cycle during these times is just absolutely insane. Usually that's a time to stay inside and not do any type of work. But yeah, this since I left Del Rio, it's been a pretty frustrating stretch of road. I've went through 5 tubes now, 5 bicycle tubes, and probably close to 35 patches. It just seems like there's thorns and things that want to poke holes in your tires and everywhere. And even on the side of the road, it's absolutely insanity. The amount of metal and broken car pieces and glass and all sorts of things on that, like between the white line and the ditch. There's just all sorts of things that want to poke a hole again. Once again, like even little mini pieces of wire that somehow get stuck, they pierce right through. It doesn't matter, like that much thick tire rubber. Yeah, it's been bonkers. I stayed a night in Fort Davis the other day, and that was beautiful. The mountains and the mountains. And it's weird because they're not really big, tall mountains, but considering how flat everything has been up until this point, these are mountains. And someone was telling me they're the tail end of the Rockies, so they're just like, they're the young mountains. And then I came through Marfa, which is a total gentrified hipster town. I thought it was built up. There's like an internet mystique about it. There's people that talk about it, and there seems to be like some kind of mystique. And I went there, and yeah, it was just like going to any place in the city where all the hipsters hang out. So it wasn't really all that special. What else can I say? Yeah, this has probably been, like I said, it's probably been the most frustrating and hardest part. The amount of heat. I mean, yesterday it's not full. It's supposed to get like 42 today, and when it gets that hot and the wind blows, it feels like you're in an air fryer. I've never been outside when it's so hot that the wind hurts. Like nothing is relieving about the wind. It hits you and it makes everything worse. So this is the last bit I'm going to be in Texas, though. I met someone about a week ago, and they were a trucker, and he said, his name's Gil, and he said that he'd be willing to help me out. I could only stay in the States for 6 months, and I am a terribly, terribly slow person when it comes to bike touring. I like to hang out with people. I like to hang out in places. I like to, take my time and really, like, if I'm in an area, I don't want to leave the area until I feel like I've got its cultural, like, essence, until it's filled me up. I've been in Texas for quite a while now, and there's so many different diverse parts of Texas. But anyway, he's going to help me out because I can only be here until June 11th. So he's going to give me a ride until hopefully Southern California, and then I make my way to the Baja Divide, which is going to be, pretty cool. I've been, going to Mexico. And it's the Baja Divide, it's scouted, it's going to be a lot more bike packing. So that'll make for an interesting change, because I honestly thought when I got to the States there would be more gravel roads, but everything here is paved. Because in Canada, when I did Canada, there was so much gravel roads and pathways, and I didn't have to really take the roads that much, but here everything's paved, and you always feel like you're somewhere. You're not lost, or somewhere very remote. It always just feels like just down the road there's a place. Mind you, this southern tier route, there's a lot of remote stretches of road where you're like, oh man, what am I getting myself into? It's like 40 degrees, and taking shade underneath a tree with a blackout curtain. So the other day on my way to Balmaria from Fort Davis, it was 65, 68 kilometers, and it was all downhill. Very beautiful. In the last 20 kilometers, I got a flat tire, just something on the road, I don't know what, hit the rubber and put a little hole in it. And so a guy, it was so hot, it was like 42, 43, and I must have flagged down like 18 different vehicles. No one stopped. There was this one guy who was going the opposite direction, and he waved at me, and then all of a sudden he stopped. He turned around, comes all the way back, asks me if I need any water, and then offers me a ride. And he was like, well, yeah, something told me to turn around and at least offer this guy water. So he ended up stopping. He had his 2 children with him, and he drove me all the way here, which was amazing, because I don't know if I could have walked and pushed my bike another two hours in that heat. I wasn't going to die, but facetiously, I was probably going to die. The only bad thing that happened, it seems like there's always silver linings. If something really, really good happens, then something bad has to happen. And that thing was that shade structure that I built in Makoto. I made it all. It flew out of the truck at some point. I didn't even pay attention until he dropped me off and left. And I was like, oh man, no shade structure. And what really, really makes it hard to swallow is my solar panel was on top of it. So even my solar panel wasn't enough to weigh it down. I thought I put stuff on it to weigh it down, but it was so windy, it just must have. And the whole thing was made out of PVC pipe, so it was like a $40 shade structure with a $70 solar panel on it. And I used that solar panel a lot, and now it's gone. So I'm pretty sad about that. So yeah, that's the update.